Take three. Nigga, I am struggling. Welcome to the show. It's your boy Trace. I'm back. Took a little bit of a hiatus after I rage quit on YouTube last week. Recording this show and getting to the cutting room floor and realizing there's no audio. Oh, yeah. That is the worst. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. We had to switch up the format a little bit. YouTube is doing things differently now. They're not promoting independent content creators as much as they used to. They're now, I guess, going to the news outlets. It's crazy. So we got to try something different, get in the algorithm a different way. And that's what we'll do. In the meantime, let's get to the begging portion of the video. Please, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, okay? Turn on the notification bell because, nigga, we need all the help we can get. Like I said, YouTube is changing the algorithm, and I guess they no longer want to promote us. So also make sure you subscribe to New Blackstreet. Follow us on social media, on all platforms. And yeah, if you want to contribute to the show in a monetary way, my Venmo is down in the description. Make sure you tap that. All right. In the meantime, we got to talk about Ironheart. Okay. Ironheart dropped 3 episodes last week, and it has been an utter nightmare. Now, I'm not going to bore you with another review. I'm pretty sure you've seen all of the reviews that have come out the past week. They have been hilarious. And, you know, it just wouldn't be original for me to go out and do that. I just want to talk to you about how terrible of a character Riri Williams is and why you absolutely positively should not compare her to Miles Morales, okay, or any other character for that matter, because this isn't a hero, this is a villain. But before we get into the absolute, I don't even know what to call this shit as far as Riri Williams herself, you need to see the quality of the show that we are currently indulging into right now. Let me give you a good little whip of this.
Karma.
Fine. Just shut up about it. We go first thing in the morning.
Yes! Bonnie and Klein back on the streets! Come on, best friend! Go, best friend. That's my best friend. I go, best friend. That's my best. Come on, go, best friend. That's my best friend. Hey!
Now, will you upgrade the suit?
I got you.
That my best friend.
Oh my God! What the hell was that? What the hell was that? So now that you've seen that clip, you know exactly what kind of people we're dealing with. You know what kind of show this is. I wouldn't go as far as saying this is CW quality. It's not CW quality visuals, but it's damn sure CW quality writing. All right, Riri Williams, okay, our hero, the alleged replacement for Iron Man, okay? Selfish, narcissistic, takes no responsibility for her own actions, no regard for anyone else but herself, liar, stealer, I guess thief, I should just say thief, extortionist, absolutely delusional. She is, what does that sound like to you? If you're a black male, you know exactly what that sounds like. Sounds like the average black woman, if you ask me. What the fuck are we talking about? She literally starts this show off getting kicked out from MIT for stealing and plagiarism. And how does she follow that up? More stealing, more plagiarism. Stealing the suit that she built for the school's money. She built for the school with their money, and she steals it. And she's supposed to be an alleged genius and doesn't know that the suit she built for the school, they gave her all the money to build, would have a failsafe in it to stop her from using it when she's no longer a student. Genius, right? Genius. Let me play you a clip just to give you some insight to the kind of individual that we're dealing with right now, okay?
To extend my grant just one more year. If I could just get my idea off the ground, help would never be too late. This could change the world.
Sorry.
Riri, I understand why this project is a passion of yours, but you've been here over 4 years, with as many disciplinary hearings on record, and still no true matriculation towards a degree.
Due respect, Dean Troy, what do I get out of matriculation? Some job in Palo Alto with a tiny window and a bunch of guys I have to pretend to like? build something undeniable. I want real life scientific epiphanies. You want me to do homework? I have to explain to my professors. You want me to be small. But I refuse.
Riri, that's a hot pile of garbage.
That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. Hot pile of garbage. You get a full scholarship to the best college the country has to offer. They gave you millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to build an Iron Man suit. They literally say in the show that they built a curriculum specifically for you so you can have time to do what it is you do. And how did you repay them? By plagiarism and stealing. But they're asking you to be small. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Riri Williams is one of the worst written characters. Oh no. That's not necessarily true. She's actually one of the best written characters if you're making a show about a villain. I'm just saying. But considering the fact that they're trying to convince you that this woman is supposed to be a hero at some point, there is no redeeming this character. She's responsible for 2 murders in this show. 2 murders. Okay? She may not have committed the murders directly, but she's definitely an accomplice to murder. Especially considering the fact that she didn't report either. I'm sorry. I just let me play another clip for y'all to just give y'all the kind of idea of what we're talking about right here. Let me just do that.
But you, Riri Williams, are making an iron suit.
People are obsessed with them. I could build 1,000 other things, and no one would care. But if I could build one of them, better than everyone else, people got no choice but to respect me. Smart.
That's why she's doing this, ladies and gentlemen. She wants respect. She wants respect, and she wants to be bigger than Tony Stark. Okay? Now, I want you to think about this. Tony Stark went to Queens to meet with Peter Parker at his home, where he lives with his auntie, who has nothing, living paycheck to paycheck, bills past due. And he asked Peter, knowing that he was Spider-Man, what gets you out of bed every day? Why do you do this? And Peter responds, I just want to help the little guy. Right? You see, Peter is just as intelligent as Tony. Well, maybe not. Just in a different spiel. But Peter's a genius as well. Peter also has the ability to do whatever he wants. I mean, we're talking about a kid that if he wanted to, he could go and play football and be the best athlete on campus and go off and earn millions and millions of dollars for he and his auntie in the NFL if he wanted to. But he doesn't do that because he knows it's not right. Not just football, baseball. You think he can hit a home run? I bet you he'd hit every ball that got thrown his way. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he willingly struggles with his auntie, knowing that he has the power to change their life for the better, but he doesn't do it because he knows that ethically it would be wrong. What does the replacement for Tony Stark do? She's doing this to get respect. Mind you, she comes home after getting kicked out of school, looking for money, wants to build a suit, and decides to join a group of criminals who literally tells her that they are criminals to earn some money. Let me show you that clip. Let me show you that clip.
Consider this a signing bonus. And if you agree to do the next 3 jobs with us, you'll have way more than this.
I assume these jobs aren't exactly legal.
And not exactly.
Look, I don't want to hurt anyone.
No, whoa. You don't want to hurt anyone. Is this coming from the same bitch that blew up several cops? Why she's not in jail is beyond me, but whatever. She's a cop killer. She literally did it in Wakanda forever, but now all of a sudden she doesn't want to hurt anybody? Oh, not only that, but your experiment led to one of your professors getting hurt, or your dean, or whoever. You show no remorse whatsoever. As a matter of fact, seeing him in the arm sling made you roll your eyes like, oh, pathetic white man. You don't want to hurt anybody. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Okay, so what do you do?
Theft, extortion, breaking and entering.
Why?
Why do you make iron suits? I'm sure you have a good reason.
She had the perfect opportunity to say, to help people. She did not. As a matter of fact, there's a scene in this show where she literally tells her best friend that she wants to work for a company so big and powerful that they won't even notice that she's stealing from them. You can't make this shit up, guys. You just can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. You can't. You cannot make it up. She follows this up by working with a black market arms dealer, Obadiah Stane's son, which when you first meet him, you don't know it, but you find out later. It's not a spoiler. You don't care. Extorting him, okay, so she can fix her suit. She gets a security shot by Parker, the security guard, okay? She literally says that she's not a criminal despite the fact that she's participating in nothing but criminal activities. I'm going to say this, and I said this on New Black Street. I'm going to say this, and I'm willing to take on all of the labels that you're going to throw at me just so this statement can get out here. I'll take on misogynist. I'll take on sexist. I'll take on black woman hater, coon, and every other label that you can throw at me to say this. 90% of the women in Hollywood belong nowhere near a writer's room. They don't understand the hero's journey. They don't understand what makes a hero a hero. They don't understand redemption. They don't understand anything other than the victimhood status that they've brainwashed themselves with of being a woman. That's it. That's all they know. They don't know anything else. In their mind, what Riri Williams is doing is justified. Stealing from the rich. There's literally a scene where they're breaking down the heist that they're doing. And Riri asked one of the retarded, I guess, members of the group, are we stealing from D, whatever the white woman's name is? As if it's a problem, which it is. And then the person responds back, you mean the same woman who doesn't care about it destroying communities if she's building a tunnel? And then Riri goes, oh yeah, you're right, fuck her. What? What? The bitch is literally building highways underground to alleviate traffic. I'm in Atlanta, nigga. I sign up for that. I'm sure LA would sign up for that. So sign right on up. Oh, you want to destroy my community? Pay me. I don't know. Help me. You're talking about destroying my community, but shit, I can help my community if I can get to work on time and I get fired because of traffic. And then this same person, the person that Riri is talking to, I think her name is Klein. This same person, when successfully pulling off that heist, and they're throwing the money around celebrating, when asked what she was going to do with her money, this bitch literally said she's going to open up a home for orphan kids as a money laundering front. 90% of the women in Hollywood belong nowhere near a writer's room. They don't. I won't say women in general because, I mean, come on. We got J.K. Rowling in this bitch. You feel me? But I'm telling you, this writing reeks of you just don't know how the world works and you don't understand accountability. You just don't. Riri Williams literally got 2 people killed. Just to top it off, pause. Just to top it off. In the 3rd episode, they run a heist trying to rob a rich man who just wants to grow plants? Whatever. She's literally told by Parker and the rest of the gang to not bring any metal objects into this building because it has security that detects foreign objects. Riri, the genius that she is, decides there's something fishy about Parker, and she needs a piece of his hood so she can study it. Now, she could have done this by breaking into his vault to get the hood like Clown did in like 10 minutes. Nah, no, we don't do that. Instead, she's going to bring a laser into the facility that they're running a heist on to cut off a piece of his hood. She pulls out the laser. She sneaks up on him, pulls out the laser, starts cutting off a piece of his hood. The security is picking up the goddamn material. Her literal AI is telling her, I don't know. You're going to trigger the alarm. Riri was like, no, I got it. Boom, the alarm goes off. The rest of the crew are now trapped in rooms as the security starts coming down on them, and carbon monoxide is being poured into the rooms. Parker decides to kill the CEO. Riri's fault. Retard. Oh my God, Riri. Then, as she's trying to flee, she runs into Parker's cousin, John, who realized what was going on and started beating her ass. But he got slowed down by the fact that they were breathing carbon monoxide, so they start choking. But she gets saved by her suit. And instead of pulling them both out of that room where the carbon monoxide is, she just flies off. The door closes behind her, and he dies. Pretty sure that's murder. As a matter of fact, she's in the suit. John poses no threat to you now. Save the nigga. Nope. She left him in there to die. She's an accomplice to 2 murders. Because, by the way, she saw Parker murder the CEO. Oh, no. Not just 2. Because I'm pretty sure Parker killed most of those guards that came after he killed the CEO. So she's responsible for the deaths of at least a dozen people. This is our hero. Disney, Marvel, go fuck yourself. I don't know what the hell you talking about. I don't know what the hell you got going on. So with that, we'll move on. And yeah, thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and move on. Jesus. Some of the worst shit I've ever seen in any show whatsoever. Anyway, let's get to Sony. Sony is doing something that I thought would be common sense, but you know, they're finally doing it. So shout out to them. Sony is scrapping their plans for Noel and their entire Spider-Verse thing. Okay. If you recall, Marvel and Sony did a deal to share Spider-Man. The deal was Marvel got the MCU Marvel, you know what I'm saying? Marvel got the opportunity to use Spider-Man in their Avengers films. And in return, Sony would get to use Avengers characters in the Spider-Man films that they made. Always remember that the canon MCU Spider-Man movies are actually made by Marvel, but Sony's getting all of the, you know, the funds for that. They're getting all of the revenue from that. All right. And so Sony had this idea that they was going to make their own separate Spider-Verse with Venom and just a whole bunch of other Spider-Man characters. Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, and the shit was flopping. Okay, the first Venom movie was cool. It was dope. It was all right. It was cool. It wasn't like mind-blowing. But Venom 2, garbage, trash. Carnage was, he was okay, but it wasn't rated R, and it should have been rated R. And old boy that was playing Cletus Cassidy he wasn't menacing. He was a fucking clown. He was like another character. He was like another actor that instead of playing the character that he was asked to play, he decided he wanted to play Heath Ledger's Joker. Fuck out of here, man. Anyway, that was ass. Do we even need to talk about Morbius? Does anybody remember Kraven the Hunter? No, they don't. Okay. Oh my God. Don't even get me started on Madam Web. So ultimately, the only thing Sony had good going over there was Miles Morales' Into the Spider-Verse. And they're going to do that third movie. What I think they're going to do after canceling the Spider-Verse, what I think they're going to do is they're going to reboot it, but they're going to use Miles Morales as their Spider-Man. And I think that's why you haven't gotten Miles Morales in the MCU yet. That's what I think. I think what they're going to do, Sony's going to reboot, make Miles Morales their Spider-Man, keep Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU, and then eventually they're going to cross over together. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who are, they're big Miles Morales people. But here's the thing. Regardless of whether or not Miles Morales is not Spider-Man, he's a very popular character. He's actually one of those race swaps or, DEI versions of a character that actually hit, regardless of whether you like it or not. I know Kata doesn't like him, and that's fair. I like him, me personally. They call him, but I'll keep it. Calling him Peter Darker is crazy. That's funny, but he's a character that people like, regardless of gender or whatever, race, gender, whatever. So I'm actually surprised we ain't seen him on screen yet, but you will get him on screen, and so there's that. Let's see what we got next. Update. Update on the Ethan Klein situation with the Hassan orbiters. So my boy Legal Mindset has been going crazy on YouTube, breaking it all down. You guys should go and check out his channel. He's been talking about that, but they got your boy Hassan over there seeding. Hassan and all of his orbiters are over there seeding. Check this clip out.
But again, let's stop there. So pseudo intellectuals.
Hold on. Let me. I gotta bring that back a little bit.
You can be a vexatious litigant. Let's stop there. So pseudo intellectual.
What Hassan said right there was vexatious litigant, and that's like a legal term for people who are always trying to file lawsuits against someone. So yeah,
like Hassan like to use big words that they don't understand. The word vexatious litigant does not just mean someone who files a lot of lawsuits. That is, it's not just that. A vexatious litigant is someone who files lawsuits with no merit, meaning they're going to get immediately dismissed, meaning these are lawsuits with no legal basis. And what you never hear from Hassan is you never hear him talking anything at all about the legal basis. Now, if he wants to argue that the system is broken, that's fine. And in fact, even myself and other law tubers have admitted that yes, parties with a lot of money tend to do better in court. That is very much true.
If you got resources, you got a lot of resources, then you can continue to pay your lawyers to do their job, which is to be persistent and make sure this shit get done on time. And if you don't have the resources, you can't afford it. You see, because you got to do everything yourself, and you don't have the persistence that these lawyers were trained to have. I'm sorry.
And we've admitted that and talked about that. And I've been a critic of that when it comes to certain cases like with Walt Disney and the Walt Disney Corporation. That can be a problem. But throwing out words like vexatious litigant kind of goes against the rub here, because you have to admit that it has merit if you can come up with no legal argument against the case. Not an emotional argument, not a claim of bias, not any other claim. You have to tell me, Hassan Piker, why legally they will win. Your orbiters will win, and Ethan Klein will lose. Otherwise, it is a meritorious claim. That's a big word you can use now, meritorious, Hassan. So
I will be putting that in my vernacular.
These are meritorious complaints, which are going to get past a motion to dismiss, which is, just to explain for you, for Hassan and for everybody out there, that's the first step. Now, that does not mean Ethan Klein will ultimately prevail. Ethan Klein may very well lose this case. Now, we've said, hey, doesn't look good for Hassan's orbiters. It's looking kind of bad for Hassan's orbiters. I think, in all fairness, the odds are on Ethan here, but they're never 100%. There's always a chance that your orbiters can prevail.
And there you have it. Okay, there you have it. The boy Legal Mindset has been on it. You know what I'm saying? He's been dragging them. He's been my bad. And listen, the simple fact of the matter is, the reason, because a lot of people are asking, why would you root for Ethan Klein in this situation? Because it's, about freedom of speech and stuff like that. It's because Ethan Klein and his orbiter, I'm not Ethan Klein, Hassan and his orbiters, they believe that they are free from consequences. They do the most outrageous things, and people are ready for them to get their just due. It is what it is. And unfortunately, that may come at the cost of some freedom of speech. Now, I don't know. A lot of people are trying to make it seem as like this is going to have some ramifications for React content and stuff like that. I just don't think so. Because how many of y'all are walking away from your chair when you're reacting to somebody's work and letting it play in the background? Not only that, how many of y'all are admitting to your audience and telling them, yeah, we're watching this over here because we don't want to give any sort of view over there? I don't think you're doing that. And I think that's the only reason that Ethan Klein has a case is because these three idiots, okay, these three idiots that we're talking about, Denims, Casey Tron, and Frogan, literally admitted on camera that they are doing this to cause harm to Ethan Klein. You've established intent, which was what is the word? What is the legal term? The intent was not nefarious. It's the legal term for they intended to cause harm, right? And you got a legal premise for this. Me, I got Ethan in 5. You know what I'm saying? I got Ethan in 5. Ethan Klein, Black Behind, Niggas Drive, Ethan in 5. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Let me see what he said here.
Agree. Lonesome Poet says, just got here and wondering if what Ethan did is considered entrapment. Sorry, and once again, I want to explain this stuff. I'm just laughing in general. So, and that's not a thing. You're probably thinking about like police entrapment or something else different. This is not criminal. This is copyright infringement. So no, there's no such thing in the law of entrapment. It's enforcing your right. And I use the example once again of the house, right? So it's like putting an alarm on your house. Is that trapping the burglar? No,
and I'm glad that he made that distinction, because I remember when I originally reacted to this case, I thought that Ethan Klein may have violated something because he set the trap and they fell for it. And the reason why I did this is because I'm not a legal expert, but I remember I knew that there was a law called entrapment, but I didn't know it only pertained to the police trying to trap a criminal or whatever the case may be. But I remember there was a situation where a guy was dealing with somebody stealing packages off his stairs. Okay. Not his stairs, off his porch. There was a guy who was frequently stealing packages off his porch. And so I don't know if this person called the police or whatnot, but he set a trap. He purposely put a package on his porch that had some type of bomb in it. Not like a bomb to like blow up but it exploded in this dude's face and knocked his ass the fuck out. And so when the dude picked up the box, it exploded, and then the victim, the person who lived there, was on the Ring camera saying, "That's what your ass get. I done told you stay on my damn porch, quit stealing my packages. That's what your bitch ass get." And as it turns out, that person got charged. And I guess I conflated entrapment with that and assumed that if you set that kind of trap, then, if you set stupid. So anyway, let's move on.
Lonesome Poet says, just got here.
That's not what I wanted to do. All right, let's move on. All right, so here's something. If you, on this episode of You Absolutely Positively Should Not Ever Listen to Games Journalists Ever Again, here's another example. So as you know, Death Stranding 2 recently came out, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. At first, I told y'all that I might, watch the story for Death Stranding and then play Death Stranding 2 if it has more gameplay. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The more and more I see of Death Stranding 2 online, the less I want to play that shit. Sorry, it just looks like a walking simulator. I don't see you know how gamers do on Twitter. Gamers love sharing clips of their gameplay. They love it. You know what I'm saying? Every time a new game comes out, I know right away whether or not I'm going to go and buy that game, because on Twitter, I know people are going to be sharing clips of things that's happening, and it always entices me to go and get it. I have not seen that with Death Stranding at all. I see the same 3 or 4 clips. I see a lot of cutscenes, but just a nigga running on the mountain delivering pizzas. That's all I see. I'm out. I'm not paying full price for that game. Now, if somebody gifts it to me, I'll play it. But in the meantime, Polygon, okay, says Death Stranding 2 is way more enjoyable if you skip all the boss fights. Pretend you won. Yes, I think I will. My leg! My leg! Guys, why do we listen to these people? What do we get out of listening to these people? Your entire job is to be good at video games so you can make other people informed. These people are not gamers. I don't care what you say. They're not gamers. They don't embody the culture of what gaming actually is, which is get good culture, man. It's get good culture. Get good. Did y'all see me? Nah, some of y'all didn't see. A lot of y'all didn't see me playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black yesterday. We was absolutely getting our colon cleansed by some of them bosses in that game yesterday. Ain't that right? Yeah, we was getting destroyed. We was getting destroyed. But we overcame. And I'll be back on it probably tomorrow. We'll see. These people, nope. They don't care. They're like, nah. And then you have another example right here. Look at your boy. Look at your boy. Jason Schreier. Here's a hot take. I liked Avowed more than Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
Boy, you lying. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Talking about you like that more than you like Avowed more than he. I bet you he couldn't even tell me 3 things about Avowed that he likes. But these are your journalists. These are your journalists. Listen, I listen to you I listen to you motherfuckers when it comes to exposing the juicy details about stuff going on behind the scenes. I don't take your gaming take seriously. Hell out of here. Hell out of here. Anyway, let's move on. Okay. Let me get to this quick little juicy little thing. Let's get a little bit political. Okay. So as you know, these last few years, we've been dealing with the LGBTQ infection. See, it's not about you being LGBTQ. This has never been a problem. The problem is you being LGBTQ and trying to force your lifestyle onto other people as if we have to accept it and embrace it. No, that is your business, okay? Who you sleep with at night is none of my concern. Do it. Just don't do it in my face, okay? I don't care. Don't try to force it in my face. If I see you out here, you know what I'm saying, gooning with another man, or you're a woman gooning with another woman, and I decide to turn the other cheek, and you decide to label me homophobic for doing that, I'm not going to be sympathetic to your cause. Sorry. It is what it is. And so that's why America is now celebrating, okay? Celebrating that the Supreme Court has ruled 6-3 in favor of religious families opting out of lessons about LGBTQ in schools. This person says the Supreme Court is preserving sanity. Massive wins today. The liberals dissented. Absolute W. Absolute W, because nobody should have to deal with this. And I'm interested to know about that language as well. Religious families, nigga. How about families in general, okay? If I have children, I shouldn't have to say that I'm religious to say, hey, we don't want our kids learning this shit. But if I have to lie and say we're religious, I will do that, okay? If I have to lie and go in and say, nigga, we are devout Christians, or we are Muslim, or whatever the hell I got to say, Get it out of here. I want it out. You know what I'm saying? Families, not families, parents should absolutely positively have control over what is being taught to their children in schools. I should not have to send my daughter, my son, or even my fucking dog to a school and worry about some freaking weirdo in there with a rainbow flag on the wall trying to teach my children about how there's infinite genders. Stop it. Get some help, okay? Get some help. And with that being said, let's move on to our final topic of the video. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get to it. All right. Now, we haven't talked about Alyssa McCante in quite some time over here. Not because we're scared of Alyssa McCante. Get that shit the hell up out of here. It's just really, she hasn't done anything as of recently that I felt like reporting on. Okay, there's been some little nicky-knack things here in between there. But nothing that I felt passionate about. You feel what I'm saying? But recently, okay, there's been an update to Smash JT's case. And there's also been a lashing out online that Alyssa McCante has done towards Smash JT and Hypnotic that we got to talk about. So the first thing to talk about is that the update to Smash JT's case is that Alyssa has apparently requested for an extension to respond to whatever the latest motion to dismiss. So remember, the last thing we heard was that Ron Coleman and Smash JT filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit because, I mean, quite frankly, the lawsuit has no merit. It has no legal basis to it. And so they have responded, and apparently Alyssa McCante and company have not responded to that motion to dismiss. And so they requested for an extension, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Smash JT said the judge granted that. And so, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken here, but within 2 weeks we should know. You know what I'm saying? At least what the next update is. And so Alyssa McCante goes out online lashing out at 8-Bit Eric, Smash JT, talking about how, for all I know, she could have mentioned me in there or like subtweeted me or whatever the case. I didn't look at it. Because I've had a lot going on in the last few weeks. But Hypnotic woke up and absolutely decimated this woman, and we got to talk about it. So, this is where we go. Hypnotic woke up, and this is after we're going to get to the things he says, "Good morning. It would seem you woke up thinking about the chuds again, trying to spread another lie after being exposed for your previous lies. Let's begin." Okay? This is, I think this is what Alyssa McCante said, okay? She says, "I've studied internet culture for more than a decade, writing about deepfake porn, harassment at video game conventions, harmful depictions of Muslims in Call of Duty, and more. Highlighting the perils of rage-bait content is my expertise. I just so happen to be a victim of it too." Okay? She says they can throw temper tantrums and write cruel 600-word posts claiming they aren't mad, but this is my job and I'm good at it. A career built off rage-bait content is fleeting, and they are learning that right now. All their numbers are dwindling. That's why they're so mad. I find that interesting. She's talking about all of our numbers dwindling. That's across the board. That's everybody. Everybody's having this issue right now. Content creators in a lot of different spaces. But I mean, you're so good at it. Why can't you get a quality job doing it then? Your YouTube is floundering. You're not doing much on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? The only place where you have any sort of semi-traction is on Twitter, where, if I'm not mistaken, you were supposed to leave Twitter months ago. As a matter of fact, you did, and you came right on back. Because it's the only place where you can make an impact. But let's continue. And that's where she's talking about 8-Bit Eric's view counts and Hypnotic's view counts. Now we're gonna get to this part. This is what Hypnotic posted, but we got to get to what he said first. All right. He says, on the 27th of June at around 7 a.m. Eastern, you wrote the following messages in these screenshots, indicating that you are an expert in the field of rage-bait content and highlighting the perils of a bunch of things no one cares about other than you and people like you. You claimed people are throwing tantrums. You now won't suddenly use names when talking about people, but there's enough connecting evidence to suggest you were talking about my post debunking your bullshit. You have now claimed that we are seemingly throwing tantrums because rage bait content is fleeting and we won't hit the numbers of 2024 and that our numbers are dwindling and we can't pay the mortgage. Let me let you in on a little secret, so come have a seat, as I am sure you are used to being in the seated position considering you've done so a few times while waiting in the abortion clinic. Oh, damn. God damn. What? You claimed rage bait content is not paying the mortgage, and yet this is coming from someone who couldn't handle a rent increase in her apartment and was forced to be saved by her boyfriend she is using for consistency while she acts like a lunatic online being funded for her lawsuit by a person they know who they are. Ooh. You make fun of people who have mortgages, but they live in a house while you scrounge around like a sewer rat looking for your next bite of trash to survive, bouncing from apartment to apartment, paying landlords you say you hate. Ooh. Here's the beautiful thing, chica. I have no mortgage. I was successful before YouTube and will be successful during YouTube. That's the beautiful thing about being financially responsible. Perhaps learn a thing or two and stop relying on men to save you when you have "all men are bad" tattoo plastered on your thigh that's attached to one of the most easily accessible pieces of human flesh to ever exist in this world. God damn. Oh, and those dwindling numbers you claim are happening are in fact not happening. Views may go down, but I have multiple channels to compensate. Views go up and down all the time. Any real YouTuber knows that. I have fun doing what I do, and I enjoy talking with people. I used to stream to 20 people a stream when I started, and I now stream to thousands. I don't care about the views. I just love the interaction. In fact, here's the kicker. I've made more in 2025 already than I did in all of 2024, during your supposed prime numbers and culture war content, and that's just from YouTube. I make more in 1 month than you and your entire Kotaku staff with enough to spare to pay for your next abortion to prevent the world from dealing with your future spawn. God damn! Holy. My leg! None of that matters. As mentioned before, I am here to entertain and discuss my passions with people. All you want to do is talk about money and attack people more successful than you will ever be. I played more video games in a few months than you probably in years, and actually completed them too. There's no need to prove you wrong again. You simply lie because you wish to get people angry and you desire the attention. Every single day you wake up and think about the chuds. Without the chuds, you have nothing, and you know this. Your channel is dirt, worthless, and that's even with all the view botting you and your friends do by playing your videos on repeat over and over again. My channel's at their worst is your channel's at their dream views. So as I mentioned in my post on 6/26/2025, there are other people who will actually entertain your bullshit. You have the opportunity to write about politics now, and you are focused on the chuds. Chase your dreams, lady. And this is the thing when he's talking about rage bait content. Okay, let me make this bigger for y'all. Pause. Okay, this is what he's talking about. So apparently, she wrote a hit piece on, I guess, her school, her college that she went to, 13 years ago, and now she's nobody likes her. Nobody likes her. Okay. This person says, I absolutely agree with blank comment. Most of the people who despise Binghamton, I suppose, come from middle to upper class areas and homes. They don't understand what it's like to come from a poor neighborhood. I'm positive that the author of this article did not venture out into the depths of the unknown. She kept it safe and followed the crowd. She didn't have to go downtown every night. She did it because everyone else did. For her to continue doing so makes me believe she enjoyed it to some extent. The world isn't sunshine and daisies. Get off your high horse. Get off your high horse and start appreciating the town a large mass of people call their home. For every one person who hated Binghamton, I can name you 50 who enjoyed it. Before you mock it and call it a shithole and in turn belittle all of its inhabitants, let go of your parents' money, their hands, and explore the world on your own. Ooh. And then another person says, I guess we don't have to stereotype geographical areas. I'm pretty sure you don't know where she is from. And then the person responds, I knew she was from blank before I even finished the article. Such a attitude. And these are people responding to an article she wrote trashing this town. Okay, as a proud and successful Binghamton alumni, I found this article disgusting and completely irresponsible. The author is blaming Binghamton for her poor decision to waste 4 years of college by partying and drinking the whole time. Confirmed. Fact. College as is everything in life, is what you make of it. It's not Binghamton's fault that you gained weight and became an alcoholic. That's yours. It's up to you to make the most of your college experience. I graduated from Binghamton early with the wonderful experiences and was surrounded by Ivy grads at my first job. Binghamton prepared me for a career, and I am a farther ahead professionally than most my age. You can go to Harvard and be hungover for 4 years and be mugged in Boston. Would you blame Harvard for that or your own poor choices? This person responds, she didn't get mugged. She got almost mugged, which I take to mean she saw a black man walking home from work, got caught up in her racial fantasies, and assumed she had just escaped a horror film. And there's more comments just flat out cooking her. And you notice, is whatever the article this is, this person says Miss Mercante. So they're talking about her. They're talking about her. And, you know, whatever. So there you go. I mean, Hypnotic unleashes on her. I mean, what can I say? What can I say? You know what I'm saying? Alyssa Mercante is, I can't wait. I can't wait till this lawsuit is over. Because once this lawsuit is over, I'm gonna light up a big old cigar, and we'll never mention her again. We'll never mention her again. Right? That's the promise. If Smash JT wins, we'll light up a cigar on my show on New Black Street and on Saturday Night Hypnosis. We'll never mention her again. Completely irrelevant. Anyway, thank you guys for attending this show. Okay? We'll be back in a couple of days. Make sure y'all hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, all of that. Of course, as always, may the grift be with you. I will talk to y'all next time. Later. See y'all on New Black Street tonight.